guys, welcome back to my channel. It is the week before Easter and I am prepping for a market that is going to be on April 8th. And so what I am doing right now is cutting out some bummies when I'm getting ready for my markets. I batch sew. So if you want to learn how to sew bummies, stay tuned for this video. Alright, we got our 2 leg cuffs. I need to sew my front, so cut my front and back pieces. Use this bottom piece of the fabric. You always want to make sure that when you're sewing bummies that you are sewing on the stretch. So if you actually look at your fabric and you can stretch it, then you know you're on the stretch. Versus this way, it doesn't stretch as much. I know a lot of people talk about the selvage and all that. And when I first started sewing, that meant nothing to me at all. So I just started trying to figure out, okay, let me stretch my fabric and see which way it stretches. You do have some fabrics that have multiple, I guess you would say multiple stretches. So for example, it may say, oh, it's a 4-way stretch, cotton jersey or something like that. And in that case, you might run into some issues looking for your stretch that way. But at the end of the day, this is what works for me. And this is how I've been doing it now as long as I've been sewing. And so I'm going to continue to do it that way. I recommend that you find a way that works for you and you stick with that. So, like I said in the intro, I am prepping for a market. And so, actually 2 of them. I know for a fact there's one I'm going to participate towards the end of October, early November. And so I'll be making stuff for that one too. As I'm making stuff for this one. But I don't know what I was going with that. Oh, so what I was going to say is for the shows right now, I live in Florida, so it's warm here already. And so what I'm doing is I am just cutting out my bummies in each size. I start at this pattern is bit noggin. So I start at size 3T, 4T. I had to think how this pattern works. I start at size 3T, 4T, and then I kind of work my way up or work my way backwards. And for my shows, I sew 1 in each size. Right now, that's what I'm doing. I've done markets before, but when I was doing markets, I was just creating samples to go on Etsy, and then with those samples, I would take them to markets and try to sell them. So to make a long story short, there really was no unison in the products that I was making. I was just randomly making stuff. So this year, my goal is to, especially now that people feel a little bit more comfortable with getting out. And as you see, the world has definitely opened up more than it has been in the past. So I am trying to get my life, I wouldn't necessarily say get my life back together, because that's what I was about to say, but it's not necessarily that. I think I'm just in a place now to where I really want to focus on my brand and what it is that I want to bring to my customers and the people that is interested in what I have to offer. And so now, instead of me just saying, oh, let me just create one of these for Etsy, and then I just have one of something in my booth that's random, I'm like, okay, let me create these items in all the sizes that I can up to a certain size, and then just see how they do. So I was doing some research in some of the groups I'm in on Facebook, and one of the things that, sorry that I'm out of view of the camera, I am building my pile of fabric. And I'll talk about that in a second. But one of the things that they were saying in the group is that it's this one lady that's in this, well, she was in this, well, she's still in the group, I would assume. But she was just posting how she went to a market and she had, she had done these shirts. It was in the wintertime. And she was just saying how she had sold out of all these items that she had at the market. So, or the show, because everybody calls them different things. So I was curious to know, how much product does she take? Because I think that's one of the questions that a lot of people always ask. How much product do you take? Because you really just never know how much to have. And this is the other thing that I consider myself doing too right now. Like what I'm doing right now, by sewing these bummies, I feel like I'm building my inventory. So, I don't know if I talked about this in another video, but what I try to do is, at the beginning of the week, I try to plan my week, right? And that just reminded me of something too. But anywho, I try to plan my week. So I plan each day and then I plan my week. And I know that probably doesn't make sense, but if you're interested in what I mean by that, definitely leave a comment below and I'll do a video on it. But in a nutshell, what that means is that when on Sundays, I go in and I print all the orders that I've gotten for the week, okay? I print all the orders that I've received for the week. And then from there, once I print them off, I go in and I pull all the inventory that I need. And by pulling all the inventory, I mean I make sure that I have what I need on hand to complete that order. And so these orders can be local orders, which reminds me I have one I need to write up. It could be local orders, because I'm not going to tell a lie. I do get more local orders than I do on Etsy. That's what kind of keeps me going. I make more money on local orders by word of mouth than I do on Etsy. But, and no, I don't have anything posted to the marketplace. At least not right now. Not during the recording of this video. But where I was going with that is I print all of my orders and I pull whatever shirts that I need for the week. Or for, not even for the week, for whatever orders I got in queue to get that out. So let me make sure I put all my pieces. Waistband. Yeah. So I pull all the stuff that I need to complete my orders for the week. So that will be all my shirts. It's normally what I do. That way, if I need to order more shirts in a certain particular size, I can order it that Sunday. I typically order my shirts from Angela, AJ Blanks, if you don't know. If I'm doing like two sets and stuff like that. Where's my chopstick? But I'll order that Sunday. That way I know she's gonna ship it that Monday, and I have it before I'm even ready to start that order. A lot of people, they go and they order 30, 40, 50 shirts at a time. I just, one, don't have the storage to do that, and two, I don't feel like I really have the clientele right now to have that many shirts also on hand. I'm trying to get a little bit better, not a little bit better, but a better hand on my inventory. Now that I've learned inventory and how it works. Oh, I'm missing a piece with this pattern. The waist. Oh, it's all there. Just smaller. Now that I understand how inventory works, I'm trying to get a better hand on it. Like, I didn't know that you technically shouldn't be writing all this stuff off until after you like sold it. And that it's technically considered an asset until, I'm getting a piece of tape, sorry. It's not, it's really considered an asset until you sell it. So now that I know that, that has definitely made me not buy as much as I used to buy, because I'd be like, oh, this is cute, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that. And I still got stuff sitting in here that I bought years ago that I still haven't did anything with. And I think as crafters, we have to know when it's time to purge that stuff, get rid of it, stash it, whatever you want to call it, whatever works for you. I think we have to learn when it's time, a good time to do that. And I have gotten rid of a lot of stuff because I used to do baskets too. Like around Easter time, I would do baskets. And then, you know, this is also kind of graduation season. So I would do, typically for someone, I would probably do their graduation shirt order because I sublimate as well. And then I would do a basket normally for the graduate. They will also want to get a graduate for them. A basket for them. And tumblers, because I used to do tumblers. And I'm just not, I came to the conclusion that I want to niche myself down. There used to be a time where I would say, oh, I'm just going to let my customer base pick my niche for me, because I don't want to turn somebody away for something that they may ask for that I know I can do. And now I'm kind of beyond that, and I'm past that. So now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to niche myself down, and I'm only going to be doing embroidery, sublimation, and sewing. I'm not doing tumblers anymore. So, like, my tumbling station, the goal is to sell that this year. On Saturdays, I don't know, right now I be having soccer games on Saturdays, but I had told my husband that I'm going to start going into the garage and cleaning it out, because my tumbling station is in the garage, and getting rid of some of that stuff. Putting it on Marketplace and hoping that it sells. We've been in this house now for about 3 years. I've already outgrown my craft space. I didn't really have a space in my old house. And in this house, I got an actual room, and I've already outgrown it. And I want to make room for my machines in my room, and there's other stuff now that I want to put out there. So, and I haven't done a tumbler in like 3 years anyway. I think I did some tumblers my first year in this house. Oh, God, I hate this. Don't you hate when your rotary blade is dull and you really need to change the blade, but you don't want to change the blade? So you're cutting with it anyway, and then you pull your fabric, and then it like just pulls it out of whack. But anywho, What was I saying? Yeah, I haven't done a tumbler in like 3 years. I did one tumbler when we moved in this house, like a order. I think I done maybe 3 orders for tumblers since I've been in this house. And I'm like, I'm just not going to be doing that anymore because people are really not ordering it. I feel like the market is kind of saturated a little bit. And I think because of that, now, don't get me wrong, I had my loyals. And they will only purchase tumblers for me because they know they're not going to be lumped up. They're going to be smooth and all that. But, not interested. One of my cousins reached out to me and asked me to do a badge reel for her. Because I used to do badge reels too. And I was just like, by the time I order everything I need to do this for you, you'll just come out better just buying it off Etsy. Have you looked on Etsy? And she was like, but you're my person. I get that. I understand that. And I really do appreciate that. But I just had to explain to her that I'm niching down my business. And I really just can't go on these wow, almost like a wild goose chase of looking for materials or whatever to complete these orders. But that is enough of me rambling and going on. If you continue to watch this video, you're just going to see me cutting out all my fabric. For all the sizes that I want to do, which is up to 69 months. I think that's kind of where I started it with this conversation. The lady said she did one of each size up to 69 months. So I thought that was a good place to start. And it will allow me to see what actually sells in my area. And that way I know what to make. And of course, you know, it's going to be different depending on the show that you go to. Of course, it's going to be different. But I also feel like that it'll kind of give me a good idea of, you know, of what to make. So if I know 12 to 18 month bummies don't sell for me, but I always get asked, do you have any more, you know, 69? Then I know to make more 69s. So that's just kind of what my mindset is right now. So I'm just making one of each size. And I'm currently cutting a 12 to 18 month. So I got 2 more to cut. And I think this fabric right here is just the yard. And so it's going to give me exactly what I need. That was another thing that I was struggling with. How much fabric do I need to make what I want to make? Do I have enough fabric? I need to cut the waistband. And what I'm starting to realize now is for me to sew all the sizes that I want, if I see fabric and I know I want to make bummies with it, then all I need is 1 yard. Definitely will need more than that if you plan on selling on Etsy. You know, unless you're just going to put your pieces that you're making for the market and then you're just going to pull and ship. So that's kind of like my thought process right now. And I'm just trying to get a good spot to cut my waistband for this set. So just stay tuned and you will see me finish cutting out my fabric for my bummies. And then you'll see me go over to the serger and get them sewed up. So I'll see you guys back in a few.